Question number 7, the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Education. Does she stand by her statement, quote, "Under the current settings we could have expected 1,000 more teachers to be added by 2016, end of quote. If so, what proportion of those teachers would have been employed in primary schools?"
The Honourable Hekia Parata.
Mr Speaker, yes, I stand by that statement. It's important to note that it is a net figure. The schooling system and the placement of teachers is a dynamic of role growth, of location, and the school parents choose to send their children to over the next 4 years. Had we continued growing teacher numbers with no corresponding lift in student achievement, we could have added about a further 1,350 primary school teachers, offset by a reduction in secondary school teachers of 320, being about the 1,000 teachers we have decided not to grow the current workforce of 50,000 teachers by. Instead, we are investing in quality teaching because we are focused on raising student achievement. It's worth noting that under the new ratios, we still expect that there will be an additional 250 primary school teachers.
Mr. Speaker. Point of order, point of order, Grant Robertson.
Mr. Speaker, it was a primary question with two parts. The first part I did get some indication of an answer to. It was a very long answer, and I really don't know that we got the second part of an answer.
I think the member should have listened a little more carefully. The Minister said the 1,000 figure was a net figure derived from 1,320 from memory fewer primary teachers and 320 more secondary teachers, which produced a net of 1,000. She answered exactly the question asked. Point of order, the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
The second part of the question, which she didn't address at all, Mr Speaker, was what proportion of that 1,000 figure were primary teachers in particular?
Order, mathematically, what the Minister was saying, the lot.
Right, there we go. Great, thank you.
That was easier.
Supplementary question, Honourable Nanaia Mahuta. Doesn't need the Speaker to do the maths. The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Supplementary. Has she read the 2005 study from the University of New York, which states that after 4 years of learning in small classes, doubled the likelihood of a student from a low socioeconomic background of graduating high school? And if so, did she just choose to ignore this evidence?
The Honourable Hekia Parata.
Mr Speaker, what I have read is that over the past 10 years we have raised teacher numbers by 12.76%. At the same time...
Point of order, Grant Robertson.
Question that was asked was, has the Minister read it? And she didn't. She began her answer saying, what I have read. That's not yes or no. It was a very simple question, Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, I think if we're going to accept that point of order being made by Grant Robertson, we would insist that you go back to the hard standing orders with regards to the way in which questions can be asked. Because, Mr Speaker, that sought a matter of fact. And if you look through these, sir, it sat outside the strict criteria for the asking of questions. It was an obscure piece of reading that the Minister was asked about, and frankly, sir, the Minister answered appropriately by saying what she did know. Clearly, the question is about her management of the portfolio, not her professional reading.
Order, no. I'm not sure it's fair to say the member's view of what the question was clearly about at all. The question was the question, and it's. I understand what the member is saying, that some members of the opposition preface their question by a whole lot of political opinions before they ask a question at all, and when they do that, I allow ministers a lot of licence in answering. But on this occasion, I don't think that was the case. And to make the matter more clear, I invite the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta to repeat a question and just remind ministers it's not helpful to start out an answer by saying what I do know is this, because it usually means they're not going to answer the question, or what I can tell the member is this, because that usually means that they're not going to answer the question. But I don't mind them doing that if the question asked has a lot of political opinion prior to asking any question. But I don't think that was the case on this occasion. The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Has she read the 2005 study from the University of New York, which states that after 4 years of learning in small classes doubled the likelihood of a student from a low socioeconomic background of graduating high school? And if so, did she just choose to ignore this evidence?
The Honourable Hekia Parata.
No, I have not read that selective small piece of academic But what I have read is all the evidence which tells me that despite a 5-fold increase of teachers, student achievement has plateaued or declined. And that is why we are investing instead in quality teaching to raise student achievement.
The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
How will she explain to parents of the children who end up in larger classes that their learning won't be negatively impacted by less time with their teacher?
The Honourable Hekia Parata.
I think it's important to know that while we provide ratios that are the basis for funding formula, of the 13 years that have funding formulas, 4 have gone up, 7 have gone down, and 2 have remained about the same. Therefore, class sizes in any particular school is determined by the principal, who is conscious of the community in which she or he works.
The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Will she support parents whose children end up in larger classes to hire after-school tutors for their children if they are not achieving in larger classes?
The Honourable Hekia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, we have made a conscious decision to have 1 or 2 extra students in a class in order that we can invest in quality teaching. If we do more of what we've done, we will get more of what we have, and what we want to do is raise student achievement.
Question number 8, Pesatau Sam Lord Tuinga.